Hi there, everybody. Hope that you're doing well. It's Dr. Flo, not telling you what I heard, but what I know. What I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your existence. And how you feel and respond and put your love in action around your loved and lovable nature is going to determine how the days, weeks, months, years, and your entire life is going to unfold. And one thing that we do well here in this network is talk about ideas and what we are witnessing in the world. And one of the vehicles that we use to do that, in addition to our daily peer support groups, is the Deconstruction Junction podcast, where for many weeks we've been bringing in the things that we see in the world and unpacking them in a hopeful, hopefully it's a productive way. Sometimes we do ramble and or blab, as Tara told me this morning I'm prone to doing, but the blabbing is all to encourage, equip, and empower. And the person I'm usually blabbing with and blabbing for is Tara Paolo Studio. Who are you in the world, my fellow blabber?
Hello, y'all. I'm Tara Priolo. I am your resident Black biracial multi-passionate musician. I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. And I'm happy to be back for another week of blabbing. If you would like to talk with us about the things going on in the world, the things going on in your personal life or your public life, you can come be a co-host. You can apply at lovedandlovable.bio.link, or you can message either Dr. Flo or I, and we will get a vibe check meeting set up and get you on the pod. I believe Dr. Flo is sharing this out. If you are interested in joining our WhatsApp community or our Snapchat community, you probably just heard mine go off because I took myself out of Do Not Disturb and now I'm back in Do Not Disturb. So if you are interested in getting flares and things like that, we have flare channels on every single platform, like the main platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp, and Threads. We do post on Threads when we go live. So if you're interested in any of those, go to the website. And if you get lost, just message us. It's at Terra Priolo Studio, at Andre and the Flow. We'll get you to where you're going.
We are here to support you, and we love supporting people. One of Tara and I's common kinks, if you will, is watching people grow and learn and build and develop. And so just know on the internet together, we've been working at this for the last 4.5 years and have really fought the good fight and at times each other about making this the best that it can be for the community. And it has never been better, sincerely. And also within her own zip code and within my own zip code, we are really committed to people in our networks individually winning. And so if you are trying to be part of a winner circle in Minnesota or in Georgia or globally, we're good people. I will say that. And some people will be like, good people don't have to tell people that they're good people. No, I would actually encourage all of the good people on the planet to start standing up and saying it and talking about it. Because if we don't, situations like this are going to happen. It's on you, Paolo.
How about now? The microphone died, y'all. I had a Dr. Flo moment. It hasn't been charged for 2 days. So here we are. Sorry about that. Anyway, I haven't, this was from a couple days ago, but I wanted to give you all the official thing. This is from Attorney Crump, who's taken the case. We've been retained by the family of Demar Travion, or Trey Reed, the 21-year-old Delta State University student whose body was found hanging from a tree. Trey was a young man full of promise and warmth, deeply loved and respected by all who knew him. His family and the campus community deserve a full, independent investigation to uncover the truth about what happened. And I will just update this as saying this morning I did see that the whatever state that was in, which I cannot remember, Mississippi,
Mississippi.
came out and said that there was no There was no reason to continue an investigation, that it was a suicide. I do believe that people are still calling for an independent investigation, as Attorney Crump has said here. So I would just say keep his name and Corey's name in the, keep saying them, right? Keep talking about this. Don't let them sweep it under the rug. Don't normalize it. Don't like, don't do any of those things. Keep talking. Keep talking about it. And again, rest in power to Trey.
And this is speculatory. And for those of you listening, I'm like, what is he smacking on in my car? What is he smacking on while I'm taking my shower on this podcast taping? I'm having yogurt with pineapple and granola and a peach, fueling for the journey. Um, Tara, as you all know, is a multi-passionate biracial. I crossed the picket lines as it relates to love and loving all humans, both on the lady side and the dude side. Why do my inner guidance? Why does my spidey senses tell me this is like a Emmett Till, you fucked my sister, I don't want you to live situation?
I feel like there's a lot of this is going to be ironic given who was murdered last week. Um, I feel like there is a lot of Wahite gang violence that has never stopped happening. That's the other thing. I keep seeing people saying, "Oh, the lynchings have started. The lynchings have started." The lynchings just haven't been in the news, y'all. And like I talked about this in my stories, but the bigger picture here is also that these two stories, Trey and Corey, rightfully are in the news. But the reason that they're in the news is because Charlie Kirk was murdered last week. The fear mongering, the layers of fear, be afraid of everybody. No one is safe. Da 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 da. That is what Trump wants. That is what authoritarian regimes want. That is what fascism wants. And so, like, just be very aware of how that information is coming to you. And again, it's not that Trey shouldn't be talked about. It's not that he should not be on the platform or on the platform. It's not that he shouldn't be in the mainstream media. It's just that there's a reason why he's in the mainstream media, right? And so, yeah, I get the sense, like, and we don't know this to be true, right? Like the coroner, like there's conflicting reports about the broken limbs. There's conflicting reports. Just there's some conflicting reports. We don't actually know what happened. Um, we can suspect what's happened, but I know that college campuses are dangerous for groups of people, and to not, like, yeah, there was a situation years ago on my college campus. It was after I graduated, but a black man was found dead outside on the football field in the middle of winter, and they were like, "Oh, he must have just drank too much and wandered out." Like, I remember that. This was maybe like 8 or 9 years ago. So just be aware, it could have been suicide. It could have been, but I would find that very odd given that he was a black man, and black men aren't going to hang themselves in public. Okay? They're not going to do it. They're not going to do
We
it.
don't do
That,
that.
like,
We don't do that.
black men do commit suicide, right? But like, I would find it very, and I do find it very sus that we're calling a black man hanging in public a suicide.
I mean,
That's,
it's also beneath our intelligence. Like
yeah,
like it insults. To say it differently, it insults our intelligence,
yeah,
because the truth is, no one can get up on a tree, put the rope over, and throw themselves off the tree. Same thing happened in North Carolina with the young lady who was lynched, like a mile or so from where we used to live. They say that the swings were so high up that it's virtually impossible for her to get up there and hang herself. People are harming people, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop. So I'm gonna do what I usually do when I don't feel like preparing slide decks
or he ran
and
out
go
of time
out.
to prepare the slide decks, because it's not that he didn't want to talk to y'all today. It's that
No,
today came up
no.
on his fast.
Yeah, and it's a day after we usually tape, so it's like
Yeah.
that tells you how I'm flowing and growing and loving. So let's go over here and see what's happening. Regarding Cardi B underscore Kawanda, KWONDA 216 underscore said elevation requires separation. The Tracy rule says about Starbucks, this whole trend of writing your own Starbucks cup and claiming the barista did it. This needs to be studied. Do you know anything about that?
No, but I'll tell you that my baristas put smiley faces on my cup a lot. One of them put stuff on my cup because I used to work with them. So it's weird. Cardi B's in the news because she's pregnant with Stefan Diggs's baby child.
Baby. And then TMZ this morning released a video of him shortly when he met Cardi taking somebody else's baby out the hospital to the car. So this man,
they said he had a baby 5 months ago. Yeah, 5 months ago with some other woman. Listen, Stefan Diggs used to play for the Vikings. This is the only reason why it's coming up in my feeds because I don't follow Cardi B, but I'm a Viking fan. So Stefan Diggs is legendary. He is the Minneapolis Miracle guy, and then we traded him because he's got a tude. He's got a real tude, and he ain't good enough for the tude. Like, love you, bro, but like your tude is strong. Anyway, and it works for him, although he's gotten kicked off of many a team lately, because he refuses to work with others. And I don't know if y'all knew, but like football is a team sport, right? Like you gotta catch the ball. He's a receiver. And so anyway, that's the only reason I know about Stefan, but it would not surprise me that he has many baby mamas. Like that's
what we love to be.
And he's got the money to pay for it, so
live and let live. I don't judge that at all. Someone says almost every time. 7 minutes ago, hey Var the horrible. Hey Var the horrible. 7 minutes ago said on Threads, almost every time Starbucks is trending, it's a calculated marketing plan. This is one of those times.
Yeah, they're probably down in their fall drinks. Because although you know what, y'all, like I talked about the boycotts this morning in my stories, and we've talked about it on this podcast before. I have a real hard time getting behind boycotts that don't ask for specific things, and that there's a lot of confusion around why we're boycotting, which Starbucks is a union buster. We know this to be true. However, also we've talked about on this podcast that all of our money, regardless of where you spend it, goes to the same place anyway. Like it just does. Like there's no way around it. And so their sales are probably down, much like Target's, which is Target. The changing over of the CEO was a direct marketing ploy to get people back into Target. Like they're down because fall drinks came out in August. And why are you releasing fall drinks in August? That's a weird thing to do. It's weird.
I ended my relationship with Starbucks today. I can't support a company that allows their baristas to be harassed and doxxed.
That's been happening.
Don't blame Starbucks for just writing the name. Make fun of people asking for his name in the first place. Cults are weird. Maybe because back in February of 2025, they start making them not only have to write a name, but also to write a message to the customer.
So that's where my cups have been written on. Cool.
And now they're stopping all that. All right, we got to move on, folks. Got a meeting. Let's talk about this.
Yeah. So let's just watch the first minute of this video. It's a long video, y'all. We'll link it somewhere. But I found it fascinating.
Hi, this is 100% just my opinion. Just Nitty's opinion. The reason why you feel so chaotic and so out of sorts right now is because there's been almost 100 years of deliberate and intentional media manipulation that has gotten us to this point. All facets of your life are experiencing entryism right now, and whether the person who is destabilizing your community space knows it or not, they have been planted to be an agent of chaos. Oh, your community initiative, your queer advocacy group, your whatever that you're trying to put one foot in front of the other and do good for the community, that group has somebody who's specifically making it so fucking hard at a level that is just unimaginable, and it's the first time you've ever seen someone behave like this. Yeah, not just you. It's happening everywhere. I want to remind everybody that there's been a coordinated effort since at least the 1970s to make people in North America dumb, to de-educate them to a point where their brains are malleable so that they can be manipulated for someone else's end goal. This happened with the Texas School Board. This happened with the Dominion Institute here in Canada. There are organizations who have spent the last 3 decades convincing us that both sides of the argument are valid and both need equal airtime. Oh, hi, Sam. Hello,
Okay,
Samuel. Yes, you're very too.
So I have to do a little more work on, or a little more research on this entryism, but like the reminder that the media and the powers that be, including religion, right, have been manipulating for a very long time, right? A very long time. And also like this agent of chaos, like she goes on to talk about Reagan and Roger Stone and Nixon and some of these other situations where there are like these agents of chaos. Now, the one thing I don't like about this particular video is like it's very fear mongering. It sort of seems like you need to look for the agent of chaos. But you ever think about like how you get into groups? Fiona Flight talked about this on a video the other day. The exclusion, right? So like if you have one thought or one belief that doesn't align with the right or the left, you are no longer a part of the right or the left, right? Like you cannot, you are so pushed out, right, by that group of people. So say you believe you are pro-life, but in every other aspect, you are liberal. And the liberals say, you can't sit with us, right? They are ostracizing these quote unquote agents of chaos. So it was the entryism thing very interesting to me, and just the reminder of that our media is manipulating. So yeah, we'll dig into that maybe next week a little bit more.
All right. Let's see what else the people are talking about today. The one thing the Democrats going to do is hustle backwards, baby. Robert the Contemplative. The one thing the Democrats going to do is hustle backwards. So you know they're supporting this Charlie Kirk Memorial Day, saying that they're afraid of backlash. Why do they hustle? Why are they so feckless? Why are they playing for the same team as always? And why do they hustle backwards?
Well, I think there, and it remains to be, you know, it's every presidential election. We talk about bipartisanship. People said that we elected Joe Biden because he could reach across the aisle. People are saying that Charlie Kirk was a good person because he reached across the aisle and had real conversations, right? And so I think that the Democrats, they're not going to, and it's the same with the Republicans, like they're not going to hold a hard line on something when they see a potential for an acquisition of power or see a potential to get something done that they want done, right? All of it is these trade-offs of like, oh, we'll let you cut Medicare if we can do this, if it benefits us in some way, right? And so I'm sure there's something in this bill that benefits the Democrats, or they're simply supporting it because they want gun reform and they've been talking about gun reform for 50 years. Which I listen, y'all, I'm no, we don't need to reform. We need to abolish. That's the camp that I'm in. But all right. Yeah. Okay. So many of you know, and I'll go quick. Jimmy Kimmel was indefinitely removed from the air. That is the quote from the ABC people. Um, and there's so many people that are like so big mad about this particular one. And I'm like, he's a white cishet man who sometimes was funny. And also, like, the canary has been singing in the coal mine, like the lady said about entryism, for nigh 60 years. Like, y'all realize that, and I said this about the other one, the other white man that got fired, like earlier in the summer. Was that Jon Stewart? Somebody got fired earlier in the summer. His whole
Colbert.
show, Colbert.
Colbert.
Okay, so he got pulled from the air, right? And it's like, okay, Don Lemon was also fired. Joy Reid was also fired. Black women, and the Joy Reid run, MSNBC took out all of their women of color. I'm talking like MSNBC cleaned house, and y'all were like, that was the canary. Like, and so like I just this is the latest, and I said in my stories this morning, I said the true test for me is whether these comedians and these news personnel will go on out into the independent networks that they have set up, because these people have money. These people have access to funds, right? So Jimmy Kimmel is not all lost. He could start his own network. He could start a Substack. He could do a lot of things, but the true test will be if he continues to speak out about authoritarianism, fascism, and the things that he was scripted to speak about, because let's be clear, he was scripted, and the reason that he was saying it was because he was making money, unless he proves otherwise, right? Unless he goes forward and continues to say it, now that it's not about being in the public eye, right? So, this, yes, it is concerning. Yes, the Republicans and this current regime are taking over the media, but we knew this was going to happen. And this is why Black people for years have been telling y'all to support independent news sources. Years. Get out of the mainstream media.
And we're not talking Sean King.
Right. We're talking vetted sources. We're talking people that are really out here doing the things to share the information. Right. Yeah. Anyway, so that's Jimmy Kimmel. Oh, people are calling for a boycott of Disney and ABC. I did see a post this morning that I thought was like actually cool, which was like, instead of boycotting those big corporations that literally aren't going to feel if 5,000 people drop their whatever, like they're not going to feel that. The same way that Target didn't feel the boycott until they felt the boycott, which was months later. Call your local people that are advertising on these networks and tell them that you will not be supporting them and that you are going to boycott them. And because they will trust, if they get enough calls, they'll change their way. But again, all the money goes to the same place. So like, do what you want. Boycott if you want. Don't boycott if you want. If you don't want, do talk about the fact that an authoritarian regime is trying to take over our thoughts.
Yeah, and it's a managed media, super
Right.
managed media. China has been doing it for a long time, and
So
we
is
know
Russia.
that what's his face. So is Russia, and we know that these are who they admire for authoritarian goals. Authoritarian goals.
Authoritarian goals.
Authoritarian. Also, y'all, in light of what Tara just said about follow the money, Google BlackRock and research BlackRock and what BlackRock actually is. And also, I didn't put it in the notes today, but pay attention to who was at the state dinner in England this week on the 17th. Those are the people who are trying to control you, if they're not controlling you already. And all of those people, including the one brown guy who looked Indian and the one Asian guy who looked Asian, everybody else in the room was a Wahite, and they do not have your best interest at heart, no matter what ilk you, you know, whatever yak or yuck you eat from them. It's not going to make it any better. Going back over quickly to threads, what the people are saying, not Captain America, NOTCAP in America, says, y'all are really out here paying men's back to child support. speaking to the fact that there are many women who, once they take a lover into their lives, in order to love him, they will pay his back child support for him. These are women who are not the mother of the children, paying another man's back child support payments to help him out. Once again, it's your money. Do what you want to do with it, but this is a judgment from not Captain America. And Uppity Negress, who I love, Uppity
I love
underscore
Uppity
Negress,
Negress. I love
says
her.
once more, they must be getting a different strain of dick than I do. A different strain of dick.
Different strain,
To pay
child.
to pay for another man's child and to pay the back child support to the government to set him free, it's got to be a different strain. It's got to be a different
Strain.
strain. I put a bunch of threads riffs in here, so I'll do one more because we're coming to the end of this and we have a meeting to go to. Let's see. Debbie Brown, Devi Brown says, "Your gifts can only take you as far as your healing."
Truth.
Conscious Lee says, "Trump using the death of Charlie Kirk to push more Project 2025 agenda, which is clearly illustrated by his attack on the media." Unapologetically underscore Jackie says, "White comfort." I'm going to make this scene. "White comfort is why we are here. Talk your shit, speak your truths, fuck their comfort." This is why this morning when I was telling Tara, pipe down on the stage of Clubhouse, she said, "I will not pipe down. I will speak up." That is the kind of energy that we need to have in these times. Nobody puts baby in the corner. It's important that when people try to relegate us to a certain assignment in their lives or in the culture, that we continue to raise our voices because we deserve to be heard. One more. How do you feel about Jasmine Crockett?
Neutral.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I for some reason I don't trust. I know that what she's saying is factual. I don't trust her or her agenda. I put her in the same category as Kamala.
Yeah, like I think that I think a lot of people thinks that she's representative of the people, but I also think that like almost anybody at the level of national politics is really in it for themselves, and like there's not a way in American politics to really escape that. Like it's an attempt at power, and the further up you get into the power, right? Like she's in the House. And so like if she were to run for Senate, like she would have to throw away some of that for the people. Like she would have to not be so, you know, um the way she is. Like you just lose a lot of your freedom and a lot of your authenticity as the higher that you go in American politics, because you have to placate to like to gain the power. And again, we talked about like what are people losing in order to gain the power that they have, right? And I think that's a large part of it. So that's how, I mean, I don't feel like yeah, she sometimes has good things to say. So does AOC. So does, you know, whoever, Kamala. Like Kamala sometimes says good things. And then it's like, oh, but you were also vice president who didn't choose to speak out at the time, but is now running a very successful book tour, um, saying how horrible Biden was. Like we knew Biden was horrible. Why didn't you speak about it in the 4 years that you were his vice president? Why didn't you step down? Right. But it's because she personally wanted power. Right. Like, I mean, that's
Self-serving.
right. Like that's all it is at the end of the day. In the same way that like Jimmy Kimmel is self-serving, right? Unless he proves otherwise going forward. Unless he continues to speak out at the detriment of his, like hopefully he won't be detrimented, right? Because I don't believe that anybody deserves to be punished, but like if you were only doing it because you were in a protected situation, right? Then you're self-serving. So, yeah. Anyway, there's that.
Wow. Last one on the table. I was going to play a clip from AOC, but she demolished AOC right in front of us, everybody. So I'm not going to do that because Sarah cleared her as well. I'll just end by saying that Dion J Photography says about 14 hours ago, some people are very talented, but in the wrong city for their talents. And as a person who had to get out of Lexington, North Carolina, which you all will be hearing more about before the end of the year, and my story of what I had to live and go through and how I survived Hartman. It's going to be a 4-part series, Surviving Hartman, coming out for the people. I just want you to know that while it is possible to bloom wherever you're planted, some places have better fertilizer and better manure. You're going to have manure and you're going to encounter deep shit no matter where you go on the planet. But some places have a higher quality of manure and shit than other places. When you go to Lowe's to get fertilizer and manure, some of it costs premium price, and some of it's the bottom of the barrel. And it's important that we put ourselves around people who are trying to give us the nutrients that we need in all of the shit to grow our life's flowers.
Yeah, and I think that it just depends on how your mental is. I think anywhere can work for anybody. I think anywhere can work for anybody. But if you are feeling a certain type of way because of the environment that you're in and the people that you're surrounded by, then yes, remove yourself from that situation. Right. But at the end of the day, for manure, we're paying for name brands rather than the substance because it's all poop.
That's all poop. Speaking of poop, ceasefire now in our hearts, minds, and our spirits. If you are warring with yourself today, the ways that genocide is happening around the world, some of us are being genocidal towards ourselves, suicidal towards ourselves, unsavory towards ourselves. The only way that we're going to be able to see a ceasing of genocide in the world is by being as Tara would call it, self suicidal or self slow suicidal towards ourselves. I have, with full vulnerability and transparency, nothing to prove, protect, hide, or defend. I have many times in my life, and even recently, been trying to commit a slow suicide through the foods I eat and the things I think and the people I hang out with. And that's got to change for all of us because how we feel about ourselves is how we treat others in the world. And we are calling for a ceasefire today and every day of our lives.
Yeah, this was from last week, but this is about Hind. They shot a 5-year-old 355 times. So just remember that. And they hung a black man from a tree. So there's
Our
that.
programs are as follows: Adopt a Black Artist program. We're looking for people who want to get free and liberated as Black creatives and entrepreneurs. We would love to hear from you. Applications are available on the site every day at 11 a.m., 10 a.m. Central. In Clubhouse, we hold peer support spaces where we help people use their time, talent, and treasure to make good trouble on the planet and be supported. Some people can go through their entire existence and no one cares about their dreams. It's one thing to have people love you in your life, and hopefully, if you're out there listening with your cell phones or with your computers or listening on your podcast right now, wherever you're checking us out on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, if you're out there, hopefully you are loved. You pay the phone bill, so you love yourself or you are loved. But it's the care part that we give to each other daily in our daily peer support programs and also on our specialty peer support events. You can check out those events at lovedandlovable.bio.link, 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 in addition to hearing more about Love City Arts Creative Services Group, which is a meeting that we're heading into in 2 minutes, where we are doing admin and support services for people who need it to grow, and also doing consulting to help them make a plan and a strategic plan for how they want to tell their stories on the earth. And it is a thrill to work with all of our clients and to love on people and have people love on us. I'm also hiring for Dr. Phil in the Love Experience. I got good news coming, but I'm not going to share it today. But there will be a need for a band and talented people in order to help us lift this message once and for all here in Savannah, Georgia. If you would like to be part of something bigger than yourself, as we unite the talents of diverse artists to celebrate the power of love through music, theater, and art, I would love to hear from you and get an application or resume or demo at lovedandlovable.bio.link. Tara.
Yes, we have the Blackening the Canon group chat. Y'all have heard about that week after week. And today is Freedom Friday, so I have some reels to make and things like that. But I have free 15-minute alignment checks, free 30-minute alignment resets every single Friday, and then I also teach a masterclass every single Friday, completely free. And tonight's is the capital V Voice, and that is at 6 p.m. every single week. 6 p.m. Eastern, I should say. 5 p.m. Central. So, as Dr. Flo settles into the next meeting, I'm going to take us out of here. We will see you next week at our normal time on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we will be, of course, around the network daily, multiple times a day, as Dr. Flo just shared with you. So from all of us here at Love and Action Network, especially our leadership team at PoppyWada33, at Andre and the Flow, at Tara Priolo Studio, continue to be anti-racist, be safe, wear a mask, make good trouble, do good work. I love y'all hardcore. You are loved and lovable, and ain't nobody can change that. Joy. Yes, joy is our revolution. Step into it,
Joy,
belong to
baby.
it.